What's up? We should be live right now if everything's working. I see Steve in the chat here. I'll just want to confirm that the video is working and the sound is working. Is my light too bright here? I'll get settled in. I'll let you guys get settled in for a minute there. Let's see here. Oh, that's too dark. You're supposed to do this stuff before you start going live. But let me get confirmation that people can see me, that I can hear me, that I actually am live. Check. Audio looks good. Everything sounds good. I got my notes right here. What else do we got? I got the tracks. Thank you, Tammy, for sending me that as well. I did have everything ready. I got the press release here and all that. I'm going to do an intro to the podcast, and then I'm going to put this out in audio form. I'm just going to leave this up online as is, this version of the recording, just this live stream. That was amazing though, for real. We're gonna get into it. I should move the chat closer to the camera so I'm not looking off to the side. All right, let's get started, and then I'll keep an eye on you guys, and I'm sure you'll chime in as we go through all the tracks. Sup? Welcome to the unofficial Tedeschi Trucks podcast. This is episode number 78, and I am Adam Choit. To follow this show, it's at Tedeschi Trucks podcast on Instagram and on YouTube, which is probably where you are right now watching this live stream. It's Tedeschi Trucks podcast. Pretty easy to find. I'm at Adam Choit on Instagram, and it's the same on Twitter if you want to follow me. Please be sure to subscribe and give the show a positive review on Apple Podcasts. That is helpful for sure. Yeah, let's just get right into the film tonight. I figure we'll just go through the tracks chronologically, but maybe before I do that, I'm going to read by David Frick. This was part of the I think part of the press release for Ascension. So I'm just going to read this, and then there's notes on each track as well. So I'll read those, and we'll share our thoughts on tonight's film and music. By David Frick. Ascension, the second record in I Am the Moon, the new studio release by Tedeschi Trucks Band and their boldest undertaking, with 24 original songs over 4 full-length albums, is rightly named. From the opening Memphis soul churn of Playing With My Emotions to the country church stomp So Long Savior and the exhilarating slide guitar climax Hold That Line, Ascension continues the unique fusion of ancient narrative and highly personal reflection in I Am the Moon, with the urge to soar that is second nature to the best rock and roll band in America. That's going to be better than and more articulate than anything I'm going to say for the next 20, 30 minutes or whatever. But I mean, yeah, that definitely captured a lot of what I felt and experienced watching this and listening to the music. But moving on with the writing here, this is not long. Did it ever feel like there was too much or that it didn't all fit? No, Trucks says of the musical breadth and emotional dimension of I Am the Moon, which extended even further in the 4 movies, one for each album, that comprise I Am the Moon, the film directed by Alex Lambert. The thing we always came back to was the through line, the 12th century love story Layla and Majnun by poet Nizami Ganjavi, suggested TTB songwriter Mike Madison. You guys all already know all this stuff, I'm sure, but anyway, as a group reading experience and potential lyrics spurred in the first months of the pandemic, we thought that would be a point to start from, and maybe we'd never come back to it. Trucks continues, but everything tied back to it in some way. It was overwhelming at first, Tedeschi confesses. At the same time, I know how it cross-references what was going on in the world at the time, the early stages of lockdown, stress on families, relationships, including those in the TTB inner circle. The band wrote and arranged songs over the last half of 2020 at the Trucks farm in Georgia, then recorded the 4 albums at their Swamp Raga studios in Jacksonville, Florida. We had an idea of how to look at things, Tedeschi says, as we watched the world go by. We've never written to a concept, Madison says. which he joined at the outset after 8 years. Says of TTB, which he joined at the outset after 8 years in Derek Trucks band. But Layla and Majnun, based on historical characters passed through the Arabic legend, had so many points of view, different strains to pull on to start writing. Well, I thought, what a way to include everybody's voice. The 7 tracks on Ascension were written collectively in various combinations by Trucks, Madison, Tedeschi, singer, keyboard player Gabe Dixon, drummer Tyler Greenwell, bassist Brandon Boone was at the farm for arranging and rehearsals. Singers Mark Rivers and Alicia Shakur, and the horns, trumpeter Ephraim Owens, saxophonist Kevin Williams, and trombonist Elizabeth Lee put their mark and heart on the songs at Swamp Raga. But Trucks credits Madison with the initial vision for I'm the Moon. When he passed that idea around, we all had the same thought. This is perfect, the guitarist says. He's one of the pillars of this whole thing. Going back to my band, I trust his take on things, and I love what he came up with. That's Trucks on Mike Madison. He has impeccable timing and insight into the whole scene. Tedeschi says with awe and fondness, the band wouldn't be the same without him. And now, song by song, this is Ascension. What a great introduction for me that David just ended this short essay with. Let's just get into the tracks. I'm going to keep an eye on you guys as well. Just want to make sure I have all the necessary windows open here right before we get started. All right. Okay. What's the first track? Where are we? Who are you people? Let me turn back a few pages in my notes here. Man, I took a lot of notes. Didn't feel like a lot. Playing with my emotions. All right. All right. Well, I wanted to keep that up because he had there were notes here. Playing with my emotions, and I'm going to read the notes here that I have in front of me from the band here and from David Frick, I guess. Playing with my emotions, I try to write with Susan in mind, Madison says, pointing to the frustration and kiss off in this R&B storm, written from both sides of the romantic divide and delivered by Tedeschi like she's had a belly full of each. I always tell her, I like Mad Sue, Madison says, laughing. When she sings, starts pointing with that index finger, it's like, oh yeah, it's going to happen. Yeah. No, I'm picturing her doing I Pity the Fool or something like that. But what I wrote down was we heard this song. It was used in one of the trailers for the film. So we kind of heard a tiny snippet of it. I thought this had a little bit of a Motown vibe. And I guess they really did get a camel. I don't remember seeing the live camel in the first film, unless I missed it for the first part. I thought I saw a like a stock footage camel in one of those like desert shots last time, but we saw the camel in the credits, so real camel. We got a real camel in the house. What do we got here? I like the back and forth between Susan and Derek, which you don't hear, I guess, a ton of on all their recorded music. Maybe it's something they do more live on some various songs, but I always enjoy that, and they both sounded great on the record right there, especially, of course. I wrote that the main riff in this song almost has like a mysterious kind of vibe to it. Like it's almost like the riff is kind of like, it's like posing a question almost, playing with my emotions, which I can see. Because like the thing for me, watching these films and listening to the music and taking notes, like I'm doing my best to multitask, but I can't really, especially for a first listening, give all the songs the amount of attention that I'd like to. I would like to. I actually clicked closed captions just to see if anything would pop up, if I could see the lyrics on screen as well. But I mean, that's just makes each listening more and more different from past listenings, because we're going to hear things and notice things even in the video or in the music itself that we didn't notice previously. So I look forward to diving more into the lyrics and absorbing them, and deciphering and being inspired by, and because I heard a lot of interesting things and creative ideas coming out of those lyrics from all of tonight's music that we heard. Alicia adds so much to the background vocals, because I guess I was listening a little bit back to pre-Alicia TTB earlier, and of course without a third person and a female harmonizing, it just doesn't sound the same. It's just, and her voice combined with Mike and Mark, that's a huge part of the whole TTB sound, and of course they sounded just perfect. Whenever I wrote this note down, I'm sure this film might have had more color in it. I could be wrong about that, but I feel like maybe we saw some more color. Obviously, it was heavy on the black and white and neutral tones, but there was some color imagery for sure. And it's, I mean, in a lot of ways, the film kind of captures TTB in the sense of like the chaotic circus. There are lots of people, lots of sounds on stage, in the studio, lots of different ideas and instruments and vocals coming at you. So why not reflect that in the images, in a sense, like color and black and white, and things are going slow, things are going fast. It's chaotic, but also purposeful. So I think just those kind of ideas all kind of mirror each other in a sense, with the music and the vocal, or in the images rather. What do you guys got? You guys got anything on Ain't That Something? Were you guys taking notes? You're just, everyone else is just drinking wine out there and just chilling. I'm like taking notes and running around my living room and stuff, and trying not to. I actually listened to a couple of more tracks again after the thing ended. I went back and listened and kind of played as much as I could before I started recording this. But I'll move on to Ain't That Something, which was track 2 here. All right. I wrote down Gabe started out doing the vocal and he sounded perfect, of course. I need to pull up some different adjectives that are like outstanding, perfect, amazing, great, so good. Like I really should pull up a thesaurus. Oh man. This is high quality content I'm delivering to you guys right here. Just think of it more as part live stream, part reality show. Marvelous. That doesn't really sound like me though, but it aptly describes TTB for sure. This song actually kind of like had like a little bit of a Billy Joel vibe to me, actually, as like a Long Island kid who grew up on Billy Joel. I'm partial to his music for sure, but of course, even the vocal and some of the musically, it sounded like a little bit of a Billy Joel vibe, but with Derek Trucks slide guitar on top of it. So that definitely makes it more, or certainly very, very TTB. Rain images. I just wrote down what I saw. Sometimes I'm just writing down what I see, and I don't necessarily have an associated deep thought with it, but I must have liked what I saw on screen at the time. I appreciated that there were more lyrics on the screen in the film for some of this. Just another fun element to be added to this. I appreciate the comments. Tammy, stellar, spectacular words to describe TTB. Yes, and Alicia does have a lot of style, certainly. And there's just so much. There was a lot of texture and depth to the images. There was like a part where horns were playing during this song, and you could see, I think, was it Kebby and Ephraim were kind of like, their silhouettes were one in front of the other, and it really gives TTB this energy and just it makes them larger than life. That's what I was searching for with the silhouettes, and the silhouettes are just like I mean, maybe not to the world doesn't see like Tedeschi Trucks Band and all its members as iconic, but to like hardcore fans, like when you see a silhouette of Susan or a silhouette of Derek, like it's like so recognizable rather. And it makes them seem, again, larger than life, especially when you combine that with the music and all the space imagery that sort of surrounds the figures on screen. Horns were swinging on this one, says Renee. Agreed. Yeah. What else we got? You know what? I didn't read over what I have in the notes here. So for Ain't That Something, this hearty contradiction of brawling funk and emotional resignation. Lyrics, you served it up, I let it slip away. Ain't that something? Began with Dixon's keyboard riff and vocal melody. Egoless is a good way to look at it, Madison claims, characterizing the group writing sessions for I Am the Moon. We kept missing with people's ideas, playing them like silly putty. At one point, while working on this tune, Derek had this riff for the bridge and it came together. Sometimes you can tell songs have been Frankensteined, but Ain't That Something? You can tell it was organic. I mean, I'm just here for the music. I mean, it's interesting to hear all the background and the musician's point of view, but I'm almost like so biased, so to the point where I'm just unconditionally gonna love all this music. Plus, it's great. It just is. Like, it's all great music, stellar and spectacular. Yeah, just like Derek's hair and Susan's glasses. I'm going back to the silhouette thing, and Kebby's hair, and Gabe also. They're all just so recognizable in silhouette form. I don't know if you guys have anything else on Ain't That Something. And Susan, I think, had a lot of lead vocal on that in the second half of the song. It wasn't just an entirely Gabe song, and I like that when you get different lead vocalists on TTB songs. I like that it's sometimes all one lead vocalist, sometimes they trade verses, sometimes it's just Gabe and Susan. So you get a real good, you get everything. They all have their unique styles, says Tammy. Yeah, no, it's this was just amazing from start to finish. Wonderful, says the thesaurus here. Here, now we got some other adjectives pulled up here. That's funny. I didn't anticipate I would be doing that. All the Love was the next track, and that was just an epic experience for me to listen to, I would say, to be honest. But I'm going to read the notes before getting into some of my reaction here. The 9-minute trip starts in modal blues mantra with Tedeschi's simmering urgency in the choruses. All the love we found, all the love we've let fall down. Yeah, that kind of hit hard. No, in a great emotional way. This the lyrics, because I did find myself paying or a little closer attention to them maybe on this particular track. I'm going to start again. The 9-minute trip starts a modal blues mantra with Tedeschi's simmering urgency in the choruses before heading into an instrumental orbit that suggests the Grateful Dead's Dark Star, wreathed in brass, scored by Gil Evans. There's a handful of tracks that are just straight live, Truck says, of I Am the Moon. All My Love is one of them. We captured a thing and decided not to mess with it. That was a really unique melody by Derek. I'm just reading what I wrote here. That was a unique melody by Derek. And in the movie itself, in the film, Susan was synced up like we were kind of watching a more traditional music video, which I don't believe has been something that has been done too much so far in what we've seen throughout the first two films up to this point. Don't think we had a lot of like literal sync sound on screen, which is interesting. And I kind of like how that hasn't been like overly used or not used at all. It's been a good mix of like feeling like you're watching a music video, but also at points home movies, as I kind of described last time. And it made us feel as an audience, I think, more like Susan was singing to us directly. So maybe that gave the lyrics a certain more urgency and importance. The fact that they chose, that Alex Lambert, the director, chose to show, Susan singing directly to us for this particular song, and part of the song at least. The lyrics sounded like kind of like a rallying cry for humanity, I would say, in a lot of ways. And the drums had kind of a marching band march type of a to an energy vibe to it, and those things definitely fit each other. And then we go into this sort of Middle Eastern Spanish style vibe. All my notes, just so you know, are not necessarily words. I do use some hearts, and I did write a heart right there. I'm always partial to that, and I love when TTB does anything that's like Middle Eastern Spanish style stuff, Indian music, world music. When you get those Derek Trucks, world influences into TTB, you're going to go on a unique journey. And then I wrote down I should have taken harder drugs for this one. It was just going into a really, really trippy place between the Middle Eastern sounds and the imagery on screen of like the melting plants, or the plants kind of, I can't even describe it. Or at least I don't have the word to just describe it. Of course, I mean psychedelics. I'm referring to when I say that, and maybe I will at some point. I'm gonna trip and then watch all four when all four are out. That's actually not that dumb of an idea. Anyway, what else we got here? I wrote down that the images, they seem so purposeful, but also like very mysterious, which I think is yeah, I mean, worked well, of course, with this particular song. This live, what I write here, this live will be intense. Can only imagine where Derek and the band will go. Yeah, they can definitely go a lot of places with this one when they take it on the road. Either, I don't, does anyone know what, because they're playing tonight. Are they playing right now? What time is it? It's 10:25 on Eastern time. So I think the band, where's the band tonight? Indiana. And then at the end of this track of All the Love, we got a real jazzy ending with horns and strange percussive sounds, and we got some piano in there also. You make it all work. Derek makes it all work, and everyone gets their time to shine, and it's tight. It's tight, but it's also loose. I'm making so much sense right now. Then I wrote down that the jam crescendos. And then I kind of wrote down a question here. Like, we're all, if you're listening to this, you're probably a hardcore TTB fan, but I just don't get how people can't just like love this, especially this particular track, All the Love. Like, how do you not, if you into music at all, like put this on and just submit to the music and just go on the journey with the band? Like, just let them take you where they want to go with this particular track, this 9-minute epic piece here. Now, I loved it. I loved what they did here What else you guys got on All the Love? Anything before we move on to the next track, So Long Savior? So Long Savior. That was an idea. I'm reading from the David Frick and the press release here. So Long Savior, that was an idea we had when the band wasn't here. It was me and Sue in the studio. Truck says that this gospel romp detonated with just guitars, percussion, and holy vocal fervor. Sue got behind the drum kit and we tracked it with the two of us. We added Brandon and the singers later. Madison, who co-wrote So Long Savior, describes it as almost pessimistic gospel. Salvation isn't coming amid the doubt and darkness of the pandemic. We thought that was pretty relevant. Yeah, I mean that's always a unique thing that kind of like works in music when you have like an upbeat song but dark lyrics, or kind of like a more bluesy, darker song musically, but the lyrics can be uplifting. That's always provides for an interesting dynamic in music and maybe in art overall. If that can be translated, that those conflicting ideas, so to speak, can be translated into other art forms as well. But the steel guitar that Derek was doing his thing on, kind of with a Delta bluesy gospel type vibe to it, like I love that. And Susan just sounded great, and the way she was recorded to kind of, I mean, I don't know what, I could ask Bobby about this, but I don't know, Bobby T's about this. I don't know what effect or what like settings you put on to like give Susan that sort of like extra bluesy, kind of echoey, like old timey quality to it. But that was definitely captured on this record, and yeah, she just sounded perfection. She sounded brilliant. We got the thesaurus here. What did I write here? Church vibe, rolling and tumbling vibe. They don't always have to play rolling and tumbling live or that type of song. They have another one of their own that sort of will fit into that part of the set list. And I wrote down that this song was a kind of emotionally needed in a way after listening to all the love is the other was the previous track. Yeah, all the love. After that was more like an epic, not arduous, but what's the word? Just more very intense. It was more of an intense journey. So the order of the tracks was perfect on top of the tracks themselves. Like you could hear the purposefulness and why they made certain choices to have that sort of emotional what's the word, sort of up and down, peaks and valleys. I mean, they have that within their song. So it's like when TTB takes you on a journey throughout, either listening to, I guess, one of their albums or in these shorter forms or live, you go on these like sort of peaks and valleys musically throughout the show from one song to the next. And of course, also within each song, there's like, you know, intense moments, crescendos, they bring it down low. You know, you get the whole range of emotion and within each you know, within songs themselves, crescendo. Joe says they are still mourning the loss of Kofi and Count. Count Basie. We caught the first 3 shows of the Wheels of Soul tour. They played Crescent in its entirety during each performance. Then they performed a couple of their classics, then the new record, then more. That I'm sure those were all awesome, Keith. That's what he was saying, that he's been able to catch a few more shows, and of course they've been starting to play the first part of I Am the Moon, the Crescent. This was a short track, but of course they could extend it and probably will at least a little bit longer with Derek doing the slide on the the steel guitar on this song when they start bringing this one out on the road. But moving on, I guess, to Rainy Day, the next track, which reading here is a mid-tempo ballad of candor and assurance, water as rain and tears, but also cleansing. Tedeschi's vocal rises in certainty as Truck's guitar slices through the gloom, and the horns and singers build to a sunny crescendo. Proof that this band's ensemble strength and soloing electricity can even change the weather. What did I write for that one? I wrote, this sounds like TTB. I mean, they do have their own unique sound, certainly. And then I wrote, wow, vocals, all four sound so goddamn smooth, which they totally did on this song. And the horn's the same. Like, there's such chemistry within the entire band. We people and fans, and then a lot of people will talk about that, like that the whole machine is a well-oiled machine, but within each section of the band is also like such a well-oiled machine in itself, be it the vocals and how they work together, or the horns. I don't know, it just sounded, it was outstanding, magnificent, incredible, sensational. I like that one a lot. Like, just the smoothness. I'm gonna have to look up smooth, smooth, the word smooth for this thesaurus. Just even the rhythm on Susan's vocal, the way the rhythm of the vocal itself has such a smoothness to it that I really loved. This kind of had like a Stonesy 70s kind of vibe to it. Soul vibe, I wrote. Everybody shines as always. Brandon looks like he's having fun, but also very serious kind of at the same time. What do we got here? I wrote, this one is probably fun for the band to play, because it definitely had kind of more of an upbeat sort of energy to it, maybe compared to some other tracks. But they all balance each other out, of course. That's probably helps sustain the band, I'm sure, is like being able to play such a diverse, eclectic catalog of songs, rather than being a band that's more one note, which there are certainly bands that are more one note or less notes, or whatever the case may be. I don't know if you guys have anything else here on Rainy Day. Otherwise, we'll go on to the next track here, which is La Di Da. Reading, a lot of times when you're on your own, it becomes very spiritual. Tedeschi says, you connect with the higher energy. You have faith that things will work out, and sometimes you have to let go. The crux of La Di Da, Declaration of Independence and waltz time and country porch strumming that opens with brass, choral singing, and decisive slide guitar. When I wrote it, Tedeschi continues, it was the image of being able to let somebody grow up and be free, to let them go and celebrate that. I think I wrote down some similar thoughts to that, but let's see what I wrote. Was this acoustic with Derek slide? I wrote down on top. Oh, that was the sound. I don't know if that was Mike or Susan playing acoustic guitar on this at the beginning and throughout the song. But then anyway, there was Derek slide on top of that, which sounded divine. That's not the right word. I'll just go with great. Yeah, so this kind of had some Bob Dylan-y vibes to it. Susan had a cute cat t-shirt or whatever in the studio. Again, I'm just writing down sometimes just things I saw. I don't know what the hell this word is, but it was intimate. I think that's the word. This is intimate, and really this whole series has been. You guys are giving me adjectives here, Tammy and Joe: smooth, fluid, effortless, glossy, velvety, otherworldly. I appreciate it. This is good because I will work these in, and not just into podcasts, or well, mostly into describing Tedeschi trucks. But I suppose it's never bad to expand my. It's not that I'm expanding my vocabulary. It's more like I'm expanding my words I use, my using the language that I use. More variety. But yeah, this whole series it's just been intimate. We're really getting an intimate look into the TTB world. They're in the studio. They're out hanging out together. Falcon is drinking. Susan is drinking. They're having a good time. They're in the studio. I said that already, but anyway, and I appreciate it. And we, the fans, all appreciate it. Like, the band is like sharing these like intimate moments where they're being like silly and really being serious about their craft. Like those are moments that they share together, and their friends and their colleagues. That's not necessarily our like we're just fans. But for them to share that with us is truly appreciated. And I guess it just makes everything that much better. It can't not like make the music and following the band and make the whole like experience and enjoyment. Candid moments being shared, says Tammy. Do they smoke weed, as Steve? Probably most of them, yes. Pyatt Pund, what's up? Derek really he says Derek really seems like he's pushing his playing to the limits these days. So incredible to see and hear. Yes, lexicon, maybe the word I was looking for earlier, Tammy. Yeah, what did I write down here? I'm not crying, you're crying. No, I definitely had moments throughout tonight where I was getting a little emotional, certainly, for sure, but not in a I'm falling to pieces way or anything like that. I'm just so moved by this music. I mean, how could I not be? How could people not expect me to be doing a podcast about this band? So of course that I'm going to be moved by the songs, but there's just definitely certain moments where it hits you more than others, where you get the goosebumps or you get maybe a tear, tearing up. I don't tear, I don't cry, but I tear up. That's all right. We're allowed to do that. I'm not crying, you're crying. And then I wrote down I need to start learning all these songs on guitar, or at least trying. At least I can do that. Some of the first "I Am the Moon" from Crescent, those are up on the internet. I saw some chords and tabs and things like that. So I need to get going on that. I would like to try all these songs. I'll sing to entertain myself for the time being. But yeah, it'll be fun for people who play music, and especially guitar, to start playing these songs ourselves, for our own enjoyment, pretending for a moment like we're not the professionals. Falcon is the epitome of cool, says Tammy. Can't remember. Keith says, can't remember which track, but saw Falcon on the acoustic guitar first as a percussion instrument, drumming on it, then finger picking a cool rhythm. I think that was on La Di Da, I want to say. Let me see here. What else do we got here? Horns, and then I drew 3 hearts. And I wrote down Susan's voice kind of cuts through the tracks that they record and TTB music in a lot of the same way that like Derek Trucks' guitar cuts through the tracks. They're just both so recognizable, maybe more recognizable for me and hardcore fans and big fans, for us in our lives who listen to the music all the time. But it definitely, like, I keep coming back to that phrase, cuts through, and it's just both of her vocal and his guitar is just like unmistakable. And she just has so much control. And I'm certain that she was exhibiting it in this moment when I wrote it down, doing a run of sorts, a blues run on La Di Da. But if you guys have nothing else on La Di Da, I'll move on to what is the final track. Hold that line. I'm reading here. Ascension concludes an exile and determination. Trucks slide guitar weaving through the song like hope on the wind as Dixon and Tedeschi sing to each other as if over a great distance. The lyrics here, out here hanging on a string, holding so tight, I feel everything. That was surprising to me how much Susan and I spent singing in octaves. Dixon says it wasn't something we had done before a lot. She had the main part, and I would just sing an octave below. It's a nice blend. Yeah, no, they're all swell. They're all stupendous. They're all fabulous. Now the vocals are always just magnifique. I don't think I've ever used that before. Can I edit that out? No, I'll leave that in. What I write hit down here, Middle Eastern sort of vibe and intro to this kind of Beatlesy within you, without you thing going on. And then with, of course, once the song gets going, you hear the TTB, spin on things and signature sound, so to speak. Goosebumps I wrote down, so I must have had those. I believe myself. I don't really get goosebumps from other bands' music like as often as, I guess that's, well, they're the largest provider of goosebumps from music. It would be this band, certainly, I would say. And this song had kind of an uplifting vibe, if I recall, to it. And why shouldn't Ascension be uplifting? And then I underlined both of those words because they kind of have they're related to each other and similar in a lot of ways. And as I was having these thoughts, I was seeing birds flying, so everything kind of seemed to be like syncing up a little bit in this moment. It's like I'm listening to this music and experiencing this film and being a human on this planet. It's like I'm trying to let go in a sense, but also connect the dots at the same time. I don't know where this came from, but like I kind of would be cool if Kofi could hear these songs, obviously we all miss Kofi and him being a member of the band, but I would like to we should, you gotta play the songs. so, and I think about that with Dwayne and Derek a lot too. Or no, I shouldn't say a lot, but I've had that thought, forget about Derek and Dwayne playing together, something crazy like that, but just, check this out. I guess it's like when they played Chuck Berry's got to hear Marty McFly, some real supernatural bizarreness. Tammy says, I'm sure Kofi can hear. Very sweet. Keith says La Di Da is also part of the background vocals on the track Fallen, second song on Crescent. Wait, so they used two parts of the same thing on this different song or something like that? I wrote this could be a potential showstopper, or will be, kind of with Midnight in Harlem, These Walls type vibes to it. And, that got me thinking that there are certain categories of Tedeschi Trucks Band songs. I don't know if this has ever been discussed or posted about in various groups, but there are, not that that's a bad thing. And they have many different kind of categories of songs. And I'm sure they probably had them organized in a certain way where they, their acoustic song, their upbeat song, something more ballady, something more Middle East. I'm sure they have their method to the madness and way of organizing these things, but it's great that they have such an eclectic catalog of so many songs to draw upon, and that's obviously growing as well. And that's how they're able to create, and how Derek is able to create such great sets and great albums. And again, the order of the songs on Crescent and on this album Ascension as well were just seemed fucking right to me. Seemed like the right order to me. But I think that's all I got on the final track of the film, of the night, of the song, of the album rather. The credits had a Fallen instrumental. Maybe I'll jam over that. What key is that in? Fallen. I gotta make dinner, but I have a long to-do list, or a to-do list. But yeah, I like the credits too. I screenshotted all the song credits as well, and Tammy sent those to me too. Where is that? Well, maybe I thought I did. Oh, here we go. Yeah, all the songs were written by members of Tedeschi Trucks Band. let's just say that. I don't think I have anything else to really discuss. If you guys want to continue chatting or have any other comments about the music, about the film, I love it all. What a great job by Alex Lambert. I'm going to be interpreting the meaning of all these images for years to come, trying to figure things out. Because I'm going to probably, I mean, obviously we're all like probably listening to the music more once it's released rather than like watching it and listening on the album. But I think we're all going to come back to these films again in the future and maybe see them with, fresh eyes and notice things we didn't notice before and have an entirely, I don't want to say new experience, but a deeper, richer experience watching the films. Like, again, I think they're like, I would love to like project them like on a big screen and have like a event or something like that. I'm thinking out loud, but I think that would be a lot of fun to get the films up on a big screen and get the music on some like real good speakers or something like that. I'm gonna think about this more. That's what I need to do. Take on more projects and more work. No, it's all good. But that's pretty much all I got. Episode 78. That was a lot of fun. I appreciate you guys hanging out. I don't know if any of you guys got any other comments are here. Hope you're all doing okay. This podcast is on Instagram at Tedeschi Trucks Podcast. Remember to hit subscribe. Subscribe to YouTube. If you're here right now, click subscribe. If you're not a subscriber already, I appreciate that. I'm on Instagram and Twitter at Adam Choit. Tedeschi Trucks Band is at TedeschiTrucksBand.com. That's their official website. Buy tickets to shows, buy merch. There's going to be an upcoming live stream that they're not live stream, but live concert. I guess it's a live stream. They're live streaming a show in Philly on July 9th. What is that? Man something or other. I don't know. I'm not from there. I don't know that theater, but that's going to be on Nug. So I'm going to order that. I need to take care of that and get that all set. Cause I think what I'm going to do is go live after that stream as well and recap. Maybe I could get someone who was at that show in some capacity on after it to talk about the concert. And I'm certain we're going to hear, I mean, we may hear both. We'll probably hear all of Ascension and maybe part of Crescent, or maybe both, because this, well, was that about 70 minutes of music right there? I'm laughing at some of the things that are kind of Tammy just posted a camel emoji. I'm gonna steal that and start using that. Oh man, because that's cute and funny. Man Music Center in Philly, says Joe. Keith is suggesting I have an event in a Dolby surround sound in a theater with all 4 films. Yeah, I don't know. I keep picturing it like outdoors somewhere, like outdoorsy somewhere. Maybe that's some California thought that I'm having. But yeah, buy tickets to Tedeschi Trucks Band shows, buy the merch, order these albums, do all that. TedeschiTrucksBand.com. But I think that's about all I got for today. I appreciate you guys listening. Thank you as always. And we'll talk more soon. Peace.